Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. I've just dived into a game of Breakthrough here on Spearhead. In this video I just wanted to kind of talk about the future of Battlefield and some of the stuff that people have been talking about recently in regards to Season 5. And then beyond that, are we going to get a year 2 of Battlefield? Are we just going to have resources diverted to the next game? Just wanted to have a little chat about it really, because quite a lot of people have been talking about it, and being a Battlefield content creator, I'm obviously interested in the future of Battlefield as well. So as always guys, if you do enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And with that being said, let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So basically I just wanted to, you know, touch on kind of the situation really with where we're at with Battlefield right now. I think obviously on launch, if we look at the whole life cycle of this game so far, it's been almost 2 years now since the game released. When it launched, it was in a pretty bad place, to be honest. Oh my god, I can't believe that guy's just got me. It was in a pretty bad place, to be fair, wasn't it? I mean, all the base maps really were fairly unplayable, to be honest. Massive wide open spaces, loads and loads of game-breaking bugs, lots of problems with the game in general, server problems, all kinds of horrible stuff that was going on. Obviously, there was a massive hype for the game. It looked like it was going to be absolutely amazing. And then, basically, a lot of people got let down badly when the game was released. It got released in a shocking state, to be honest. If I do say so myself, I think, to be honest, it could have done with maybe 6 months to another year, really, of development before the game was actually released. Because, to be honest, it was in a sorry state, wasn't it? Make no mistake about it. It was in a very sorry state. And I think a lot of people were put off by that, and they never came back, did they? They literally... Oh, that guy's got me as well. They literally never came back, which was... obviously, it's heavily damaged the IP for 2042 in general. A lot of people are still just waiting for the next game completely before touching it again. They've never come back and actually tried to, you know, basically play the game again or get back into it, even with all the updates that we've seen, etc. So really, when the game released, it was obviously in a shocking state. Since then, we've seen, you know, a few seasons come out. We've seen a lot of support coming out for the game, and it has helped a lot. Game is in, I would argue, quite a good place right now. Obviously, there's always things that you would change, right? A few little meta things here and there. Just, obviously, there's always things that you would personally change, depending on your own personal experience of the game. But, in my opinion, from where we were at the start to where we are now, we're honestly in such a good place in comparison, aren't we? And really, Jesus Christ, I'm getting absolutely wrecked. We're in such a good place compared to where we were at the start of the game's life cycle. And obviously going into Season 5 now with quite a lot of weapons. These Vault weapon reworks are coming through. We're going to get another new map, another rework for Hourglass. And every single time they seem to release a piece of content at the minute, the game seems to get into a little bit of a better and better place, to be honest. I do think the recent rework, every time they do a new map and a new rework, the maps seem to get better and better. For example, some of the first reworks that they did, they're quite underwhelming now in my opinion compared to the most recent reworks they've done. Like Discarded rework is really strong in my opinion. In comparison to, I'm really just throwing my body on the line right now as I'm discussing this. The Discarded rework, probably one of their best, I think the best rework that they've done so far. Obviously Breakaway is a massive improvement on what it was, but it's still not great. At least from my personal experience, not ideal. Obviously there's always things you would change personally, but I do think the game, my point is the game is probably getting into a better and better place in my opinion. Pretty much every single update that they are releasing, and we're getting to the stage now where, you know, we're thinking about life cycle of the game 2 years down the line. Is the player base justifying the game continuing to get more content updates, or are they just going to cut and run and focus on the next game? I mean, after Season 5, we really haven't got much confirmation about what's happening at all, have we? It's kind of up in the air, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next, really. Let me just try and deal with these people. I do think that the game, the current state that it's in, it's improving all the time. I think it's actually arguably in a really nice state now, and I think it's reasonable to expect that we could potentially get us a year 2 of content if the game does pick up a little bit more. And I think with the player base right now, it's got quite a solid player base still. I think with every little update there does seem to be a little bit of an uptick, especially with each release of the new seasons. There's a nice little uptick in terms of people coming back to the game and giving it a try. which is obviously really nice to see. You always want to see people coming back to the game, and I think like the player base has actually been increasing steadily with every little update, especially with Season 3. When that came out, there was a massive uptick in players, which is really nice to see. Obviously, you want to see the player base continuing to interact with the game and stick with it. And I do think, arguably, that the game is... Are you actually kidding me? With a scope as well. He's got a 4x scope on that. I think the game, the way that it is now, it's probably justified a year 2, in my opinion. Especially with how people have responded to the game in general. Arguably, you would say it's justifying another year of Battlefield. So if that's the case, I've completely missed. Taking damage here. We'll get year 2, and then after that, I think we're probably going to see ourselves get a new thing for the next game, basically, aren't we? I really wish that I'm not going to die now. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Yes. Oh no, he had a shotgun. For God's sake. I think, yeah, this is basically my thoughts. I'm kind of rambling on a bit here, but I hope you get the point. That I do think that, you know, we started off in such a terrible place for Battlefield. Nobody thought for 2042 that we're getting a second year of Battlefield. You know, maybe 6 months ago when we were on Season 2, Season 3. But I do think with the massive uptick of people that we have seen and we are seeing now, and just how the game is just in a pretty damn good place now, it seems fairly likely, in my opinion, they're probably going to stick with it. Go for a Season 2. And essentially, you know, run another year of content. So we could get up to, what is it, Season 8? Season 9, maybe? And that would probably take us up to the end of 2024, next year. And then, obviously, I do think the 2025, the year after that, that's when you'll probably see the next Battlefield game, in my opinion. So, honestly, I have no idea how I'm not shooting these people. I've got to say, the amount of people that were just stood in that doorway, they managed to hit me, but I couldn't hit them. So I do think, considering how good Battlefield is now, obviously I'm not saying it's the best game in the world. It probably isn't the best game in the world. I'm not trying to say it's something that it isn't. All I'm trying to say is that this game is definitely in a decent place now, and I think it's probably going to justify itself a second season. Judging from what we've seen. Judging by what we've seen over the past, you know, 4 or 5 months, the team working really well to improve the game overall. I think the game in general just is a lot better, runs a lot better. They've ironed out a lot of the problems with it, the bugs, etc. And I do think it's going to continue to improve. Going through, you know, potentially another year of updates in general. Getting more maps. More maps is such a key thing for me. Having 2 new maps, Hourglass is basically going to be a new map because it's so terrible. Hourglass is going to be basically a new map because it's so bad right now. Like, honestly, their reworks have been getting better and better. Like I said, that discarded rework's really strong in my opinion. So I do think the maps are going to get better and better. This Hourglass rework, I've got high hopes for it. I do think it's going to be strong. And if that is the case, it's going to be basically like a new map. That combined with... How have I not shot that guy? That combined with the fact we're getting a brand new map as well, which is going to be another different little style of map, I think. Both of those things together, it's going to be really cool to have 2 new maps. Obviously no new specialist anymore because I think we've maxed out on specialists from what we've seen. But overall, I think it's going to be good. Really freshen up the game with a few new maps. And also some just different new content, a few new weapons, I think, as well. All that extra content, I do think, is really going to... Oh, God. I'm trying to find the real people in the bots here. The ghost in the shell. I do think that overall the game is going to get itself a season 6, 7, 8. Probably... Is it 6, 7, and 8? Maybe season 9. Another year, another life cycle, and then going into 2025, realistically, I think most people can agree, is probably when we're going to get the next Battlefield title overall. Right now, they're allocating a fair amount of resources to keeping this going, to be honest, but I think it's justified considering the redemption arc that it has seen, and from what we've seen in terms of, you know, as we said before, the dev files. The dev files are getting leaked for a potential season, year 2 pass of some kind. There is definitely big hints to say that it is going to be the case. So, long way we continue, basically. If I'm being completely honest, you know, Battlefield 2042 has been a real mixed bag for me. Very, very frustrating problems with it sometimes. A lot of issues. I do think the tick rate on the servers is one of the main issues for me. Getting shot around corners is just not cool, man. That definitely could be improved. That's something that I would personally work on. Obviously, there's limited amount of resources. That bot literally just disappeared before my eyes. Did you see that? There's obviously a limited amount of resources. They can only do so many things with the team that they have working on it as of now. But I do think, you know, we're going to continue to see some improvements overall. Just quality of life stuff. Obviously, the squad system coming in as well. So they are actually listening to the community, updating the game in general, adding stuff, like loads of different things into the game that we should have had on launch, albeit. But they are actually putting you in the game. They're not just giving up on us. So it will be interesting to see how the game looks in a few months' time, after we've seen Season 5 release, and maybe we'll get some more confirmation of the next, basically the next season, and hopefully the next year, because, you know, year 2 is what we're after, really, isn't it, ultimately? We do want to see the game continue to be supported, at least I do. I think most people do, even people that don't particularly like the game, think that the game still would like the game to be supported. Whether or not it actually will be is obviously a topic for debate for those kinds of people that have that differing opinion. But I do think it probably end up getting a year 2 for 2042, in my opinion. And I think that can only be a good thing, because, you know, obviously DICE have massively messed up. They've massively messed up releasing this game in the state that it was in at the launch. And for many people, that it will never be reconcilable, and that's just something that DICE have to accept. But I do think also think that this game is getting better and better, and for many people it looks like it's probably gonna be enough. Oh my god, I can't believe it. It looks like the continuous updates and the support, the goodwill that they've garnered with the community over the past few months as well. It looks like that, you know, they're getting the community back on side, which is obviously a plus for them, because we don't want, you know, the people to be shitting on the devs by any means. Oh my god, this Wildcat's got away from me somehow. Come back, yes. No, didn't die. It didn't even take that much damage, did it? Off the floor like that. So this big rambly video, basically to say, I do think that, you know, year 2 is probably going to be happening. That's going to be the future of Battlefield for the next year. Whilst they are working on the next game behind the scenes, that'll take us up to 2024, and then beyond that, the end of 2024, and then another year, I think, beyond that. Fall 2025, we'll get the next game. It's killed me again, that same guy. And then beyond that, I do think that we'll get the next Battlefield title, Battlefield 7, or whatever they're going to call it. We have seen some recent updates as well, in regards to, you know, what they think about the future of Battlefield in general, and it does seem like they're going to start putting things together in one big package, kind of like a portal system, where they're just going to continuously update the game going into the future. So obviously a lot of speculation about what that could be. Maybe kind of like just a game called Battlefield, and it will just get continuous updates, improvements, etc, etc as time goes on. We'll obviously have to wait and see. There's loads of speculation about the next title right now. But in terms of Battlefield 2042 and the future of it right now, I do think that Season 5 is probably going to cement the idea that we are going to get year 2. And then once we get year 2, we're going to be I think the game is going to end up in a really quite a nice place by the end of things, to be fair. That's a grenade. And to be honest, I'm excited for it. So, oh my god, there's a guy right here. I didn't realize we could go in this little bit. You can, look. You can blow the edge off it. Never realized you could do that. Why can't I pick this guy up? Use some cover next time. Oh, for God's sake, of course. So yeah, I think that is the future of Battlefield right now. Definitely going to get Season 5, obviously fully confirmed and on the way in a few weeks' time. Year 2, we've not heard any confirmations of it yet, so it's still a bit up in the air as to whether or not we are going to get it. But I do think It's fairly likely, in my opinion, that we are going to get year 2 to some degree. Personally, I can't wait for more content. I want more maps. I want more guns. I want more balancing in general. But I think the game, you know, it's getting the little increments all the time. Getting better and better. I am excited to see how things go in the future. For Battlefield in general, I think we're definitely in a nice place right now. The game is feeling pretty balanced for the most part. Vault weapons are obviously getting a buff, which is going to be interesting for sure. That was really cool seeing all the turrets firing off there. Obviously, we're always asking for more, aren't we? But I do think DICE are doing a pretty good job overall of fulfilling the wants of the community. And long may it continue, basically. That poor guy. So, the future of Battlefield is looking, I want to say positive, looking bright. I mean, to be honest, there's been, in my opinion, quite a large redemption arc in regards to this particular game. Obviously, initially, just so on launch, it felt good because it was fresh for about a week, and then the problems really started to creep in. Obviously, just random crashing, all kinds of problems with balancing. The game just cleanly not working sometimes. Not fun in games. Servers just randomly crashing out. Just no end of things, basically. Oh my god, that was the most ridiculous kill I've ever done in my life. Spider-Man'd him. There's been, obviously, we all know about the issues that we had at launch. The game it was absolutely ridiculous they launched the game in that state. It just did not work, basically. But I mean, you look at it now and you think, you know what? We could do with a bit more optimization improvements so the game runs a bit better for people with older computers. Even if their hardware's good, but they, you know, whatever. We need a bit more optimization, a bit more balancing. Some things in the game are still broken. There are still bugs that need to be fixed. But you know what? We're getting continuous new content updates. The game feels semi-enjoyable half the time and very enjoyable most of the time. Sometimes a little frustrating, but isn't every game. So yeah, personally, I'm really looking forward to Season 5. I can't wait for having 2 new maps, because you best believe that Hourglass rework is probably going to be essentially a new map, because that map is so damn bad that it just seems highly likely that the rework is going to be basically a new map. They're going to put so many new bits into it, I think. I mean, the discarded rework was very, very extensive, so you'd have to imagine that the Hourglass rework is going to be really good. And then obviously going into a new map as well. Can't wait for a completely brand new map that's going to be really good. Where'd this guy go? There it is. Completely new maps, always nice as well. 2 new maps, nice and fresh. A few new weapons as well, hopefully some balance changes. RM68 is probably going to get a nerf. God, I hope so. Jesus Christ, I didn't even see those guys. Making a little nest up there. Seems quite likely, in my opinion, that we're going to get a little bit of a rebalance of some of the Season 4 weapons going into Season 5. Obviously, the power creep in this game is something I've touched on before, but I do think it's a genuine issue at the minute. It's probably going to get a little bit of a resolution, I think. I think, yeah, obviously power creep, the RM68, the biggest example of this massive power creep going into Season 4. The RPT as well, that gun is absolutely silly. They're both very, very strong. I do think they'll get a little bit of a nerf going into Season 5, introducing new weapons. There's a guy right here. And then obviously with that being the case, we'll probably get some new weapons that are super broken and busted to make everyone come back and play the game as well, make themselves feel super strong and awesome. And you know, hopefully we'll get a bit of continuous tweaks to the vehicle meta, because the vehicle meta is very, I want to say, sketchy at the minute. I do still think the Condor is a big problem that needs to be addressed. I think eventually they'll probably end up addressing it, very eventually. Because it just, the fact that it has a grenade launcher is just absolutely crazy. Crazy in my opinion. Well, that was an absolutely fantastically stupid idea. Thank you, teammate. There's obviously always things that, you know, personally I would suggest that would probably make the game a bit better. Taking away, you know, mega powerful grenade launchers, etc. from transport vehicles would probably be a fairly strong shout. Make transport vehicles actually transport vehicles. I'm just running around with C5s right now, being an absolute menace to society. There's not barely anyone on this point, it's really weird. Oh, beautiful. But yeah, what are your thoughts? I'm interested to hear what people have to say about this. It's going to be really interesting seeing what Season 5 is all about. Now, because there's no specialist that they've been working on, maybe there'll be a bit more of a focus on other things. Maybe like tweaking the balancing, fixing up some more of the bugs, making the game a bit more enjoyable overall, so that there's not, you know, not as many annoying things happening all the time, getting you killed, etc. It's going to be interesting to see. Interesting to see what they focus on, basically, for Season 5. Here they come. The hipfire in this thing is so good, man. With this laser sight. Oh my god. Bad idea, bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. I want to live. Oh my god, I survived. How did I survive? Oh, that's a grenade. Oh, that's a grenade. Oh my god, I'm alive. I've got 2 health. I've got 1 health. We're capping the point though. We've got it. That's beautiful stuff, that is. Mow them down, boys. Mow them down. But yeah, personally, just from a one gamer to another kind of perspective, I'm excited about where the game's going. You know, I've had my fair share of gripes, just like everyone with the game, and rightly so. The devs deserve to be called out for the appalling shambles of a game that they released initially. But I think they also deserve to be credited for all the work they've done, and the very good work, I might add, on making the game a lot better than it was at launch. And they are sticking with it, and long may that continue. I do think we're going to get a year 2, and all the things that go with that. That Wildcat is absolutely obliterating me. Gonna have to go the other way, I think. And we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful that we're going to get a year 2, but you never know. Maybe they'll cut and run and focus on the next game. You just have to hope that they make the right decision for the franchise in general, because, you know, Battlefield, in my opinion, has been withering over the past few games, losing a little bit of its identity, a little bit of its DNA, and it's sad when you see these amazing, massive franchises start to lose their way a bit. I do really want to see. Oh, I'm so bad. I do want to see Battlefield doing well, you know. As a Battlefield fan, I want it to be good. I want things to be solid. So hopefully they'll get it sorted. Some more resources would be nice for DICE, so that they can, you know, actually do the things they want to do with the game. Shot the wrong guy. Should have shot the guy there. But we'll have to see, won't we? I mean, I remember for Battlefield 5, obviously not the greatest game either. Still a really good game, but Battlefield 1 for me, oh my god. That was honestly an absolute masterpiece, wasn't it? Battlefield 5 after that. not incredible off the back of Battlefield 1. Oh, I knew I should have seen that coming. They're here, boys. Are we going to win this match? So, you know, we want to see the IP back where it belongs, at the top, the very top of first-person shooter gaming, because it deserves it. There's nothing like Battlefield, and I want to see it doing well. I don't want this franchise to die. I love it very much. So, as I said, guys, I do think I'm hopeful for a season 6 and a year 2, and the future of Battlefield hopefully is looking up. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching indeed. Please do like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be really interested to hear what you think of all that. I got 64 kills in that game. I didn't even realise I was just on autopilot. What a game. Become a YouTube member as well if you want to get involved in the community. And let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. That'd be really awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.
Nightmare.